इनकैप्स असेंबली को रॉकेट के ऊपर समाकलन के लिए उतारा जा रहा है। इस समय आप देख रहे हैं कि पूरा रॉकेट तैयार हो गया है और इसको करीब 1 किलोमीटर दूर पटरियों के द्वारा असेंबली हॉल या समाकलन कक्ष से लॉन्च पैड की ओर ले जा रहे हैं। इसको ले जाने के लिए कम से कम लगभग 2 घंटे का समय लगता है और इसकी जो गति है वो 7 से 8 मीटर पर मिनट रहती है। इस समय तक ये रॉकेट अपने लॉन्च पैड पर पहुंच गया है और इसमें और बाकी के जो काम करने हैं उनके लिए ये फोल्डिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स होते हैं उनका प्रयोग किया जाता है।
Welcome to the live feed back to the mission control, where you can see the experts again intently monitoring the launch, and on your screens now is the Shri M. Vanitha, the mission director for Chandrayaan 2 spacecraft, assisted by her colleagues, senior colleagues. And today is a historic launch of Chandrayaan 2 into a GTO or parking orbit, from where it will be propelled to moon later. The Chandrayaan 2 consists of an orbiter around moon, a moon lander named Vikram, and a moon rover called Pragyan, which will come out of the lander after its soft landing on moon. The moon landing will be in early hours of 7th September, which is 48th day from today, and I will share with you the mission plan little later. The 20-hour final countdown for the GSLV MkIII-M1 mission commenced yesterday at 18:43:12 a.m. IST. The countdown was initiated following the clearance by Mission Readiness and the Launch Authorization Board. On your screen is the Vehicle Range Operations Director. VVIP is on your screen. Shri Sadhguru, flanked by Shri P.S. Goyal, Distinguished Professor of ISRO. Again on your screen, the launch vehicle MkIII.
इस समय शार केंद्र के असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर साहब को आप दिख रहे हैं, उनके साथ में ये हमारे इसरो के चेयरमैन डॉक्टर के शिवन साहब हैं, उनके साथ में SDSC SHAR सेंटर के डायरेक्टर साहब थे। ये एक विहंगम दृश्य है जहां से कि लॉन्च कंट्रोल सेंटर, जहां पे व्हीकल को कंट्रोल कराते हैं, वहां के वैज्ञानिक और उनको देखने के लिए उनके और बहुत सारे वैज्ञानिक मौजूद हैं इस समय। ये हमारे सैटेलाइट केंद्र URSA के डायरेक्टर साहब, उनके साथ में और विभिन्न केंद्रों के डायरेक्टर्स या निदेशक लोग बैठे हुए हैं। इस पूरी रो में जो भी लॉन्च ऑथराइजेशन बोर्ड के मेंबर्स होते हैं उनके लिए ये रो अलॉट की जाती है। इस समय हमारे पूर्व चेयरमैन श्री केरन साहब और श्री राधाकृष्ण साहब विराजमान हैं।
Mission computers transmitting initial values.
Countdown has started at 18:43 a.m. IST yesterday, and
request all stations
authorized
to
after
change over
reviewing
to
the
channel
readiness
2.
of the vehicle,
No confirmation is
satellite,
needed to
ground
control.
stations and other range support systems.
Proceed confirms
We
data
are
from
about
32.
21 minutes 45 seconds into the launch. Before the launch, T-minus 21 minutes and 41 seconds now, and I want to brief to you about an important event which will going to take place shortly. That is the authorization of the launch by the mission director. Now, taking T as the liftoff time, at T-minus 19 minutes 30 seconds, the mission directors will start getting readiness of vehicle, satellite, range and TTC operations. He will then authorize to the vehicle director at T-minus 18 minutes 45 seconds to proceed with the launch. Again, this authorization is based on all the input readiness from various subsystem directors. Immediately, the vehicle director and the flight chief will authorize the initiation of the vehicle operation sequence. At T-minus 16 minutes, the vehicle director authorizes the automatic launch sequence controller to start the automatic launch sequence, the ALS. The ALS is then initiated at T-minus 14 minutes 30 seconds. I repeat, T-minus 14 minutes 30 seconds. From this event onwards, the checkout of all the vehicle and satellite-related activities are taken care by the onboard computer system residing on the launch vehicle. We are T minus 20 minutes, 25 seconds into the launch.
RSO to ROD, range
within
safety
a
systems
minute
are
or
ready
so,
for
the
GSLV
mission director
MkIII-M1
will authorize the
Chandrayaan-2
launch.
mission launch.
इस समय आपके व्यू पर आप देख रहे हैं, यहाँ पर ये मिशन कंट्रोल का है, जहाँ के हमारे प्रोग्रामर जो कि आपको
Control to note event 407, all RMSs
देते रहते हैं और सारे इंजीनियर इसी रो में बैठे हुए हैं। ये मिशन कंट्रोल केंद्र की सबसे आगे की पंक्ति है। उसके पीछे ये हमारे केंद्र के SHAR केंद्र के डिप्टी डायरेक्टर्स और उनके पीछे रेंज ऑपरेशन डायरेक्टर।
Control to note event number 427 complete.
आपको समय समय ये जो विहंगम दृश्य आप देख रहे हैं,
Control to note
ये
event
इंजीनियर
411 complete.
जो हमारा लिक्विड या द्रव नोदन रॉकेट L110 है, उसके US-25 और N-24 को भरने के लिए इसी कंसोल से
event number 423
काम किया जाता है। और ये एक और दृश्य मिशन कंट्रोल का है, जहाँ पे हमारे साइंटिफिक सेक्रेटरी साहब हैं और ये दीक्षक दीर्घा, जहाँ पर बहुत सारे गणमान्य मौजूद है जो कि इस लॉन्च को देखने के लिए बहुत से हमारे विभिन्न केंद्रों से आए हुए हैं।
Chandrayaan 2 spacecraft launch pad initialization completed. Spacecraft health is normal.
Now you can see the announcements being made, the feedback being given to the mission
Range
director
Operations Director,
regarding
Mission
the
Director, range systems are ready for GSLV MkIII-M1 Chandrayaan-2 mission.
Roger. TTC Director to Mission Director, TTC
We are getting the inputs one by one, and shortly you will be seeing the mission director authorizing the launch to the vehicle director. Intent scenes inside the MCC, a long shot of the GSLV MkIII-M1 standing on the second launch pad.
Spacecraft systems, range systems, TTC network systems.
इस समय जो
From the mission director now.
Launch authorization board. Mission Director authorizes Vehicle Director to proceed with the launch operation sequence for GSLV MkIII-M1 Chandrayaan-2 mission.
Just now, the mission director has authorized the launch to the vehicle director. Now the vehicle director, on the inputs from Cryo Chief, will proceed with further operations.
All stations to note, Mission Director has given authorization for launch.
PLO operations commenced for all systems, all cryo systems.
Minus 18 minutes.
So we are at T minus 18 minutes, and as I said that around T minus 16 minutes, the vehicle director will authorize the mission launch, the automated launch sequence. In the meantime, I want to tell you that today is the 4th flight of GSLV MkIII.
Stations to note,
previous
gas
ones
system
being
PLO
LVMC care
operations are
mission,
commenced.
and 2 full developmental flights of named GSLV MkIII-D1 and MkIII-D2. This is also the 73rd launch mission from Sriharikota.
मैं इसी बीच में आपको याद दिलाना चाहूंगा कि हमारा प्रथम चंद्र अभियान जो कि PSLV C11XL से 22 अक्टूबर 2008 को प्रक्षेपित किया गया था। इस अभियान से हमने विश्व को चंद्रमा की सतह पर पानी के अवयवों के विद्यमान होने के संकेत दिए हैं। अब इस समय आप देख रहे हैं हमारे स्क्रीन के ऊपर में करीब 17 मिनट हुए हैं। अब आपको मैं एक फिल्म दिखाता हूँ।
Now we are going to show to you
Timing
a film
to control, timing
made
in
by
external
our
hold mode.
DACU, ISRO.
Completed.
India's heaviest launch vehicle GSLV MkIII will launch the prestigious Chandrayaan-2. Chandrayaan-2 is the next leap in technology. Extremely complex, and we will experience approximately 15 minutes of terror.
After the grand success of India's first successful mission to Moon, Chandrayaan-1, India's Chandrayaan-2 is all set to be launched by ISRO in July 2019 using GSLV MkIII-M1 launch vehicle. earliest vehicle built by ISRO and has been selected for India's prestigious moon mission due to its reliability, versatility and payload carrying capability of 4,000 kg. Weighing around 3,850 kilograms, Chandrayaan-2 has three
Gas
modules:
Council calling chief.
the orbiter,
Cold gas bottle and
the
ambulance
lander
gas bottles are
named Vikram, and the rover named Pragyan.
minus 15 minutes.
Once in lunar orbit,
tank boiler.
Chandrayaan will deploy Vikram, which will make precise, safe and soft landing on the moon by September 2019. On landing, the rover Pragyan will deploy to perform mobility and scientific experiments on the lunar surface. The rocket will inject Chandrayaan-2 in the 170 by more than 38,500 kilometers Earth orbit. Subsequently, following a phased maneuver of 5 Earth burns, its orbit will be raised to 1,05,292 kilometers. The spacecraft will then be nudged into the lunar transfer trajectory. From here, the Chandrayaan will take few days to arrive in proximity of the moon. The spacecraft's liquid apogee motor will be retrofitted to insert it into a lunar orbit. Gradually, over a few days, the moon in 100 by 100 kilometer circular orbit through 5 lunar burns. While the orbiter will continue in this orbit, Vikram will separate and deboost to 100 by 30 kilometers lunar orbit, where it will remain for 4 days. On the 4th day, optical high-resolution camera payload OHRC onboard orbiter will be turned on to scout for a suitable. The images taken will be transmitted to Earth and processed, after which the landing site map will be uploaded in Vikram prior to its powered descent phase. Lander will hover at 100 meters above the lunar surface and gradually begin its descent. And start collecting information on lunar topography, mineralogy, elemental abundance, lunar exosphere, and signatures of hydroxyl ions and water ice. The mission life of orbiter is 1 year, and that of Vikram and Pragyan will be 1 lunar day, which approximately equals 14 Earth days. Chandrayaan-2 will attempt to answer questions on yet unexplored lunar surface and open up possibilities of using the moon as a platform for further exploration of the solar system and beyond. With this, India reiterates its prowess in space technology and its commitment to humanity.
अभी आप एक चित्र देख रहे थे जिसमें ये आपको एनिमेशन के द्वारा हमारे उपग्रह कैसे चांद की तरफ गए और इसके बाद में विक्रम रोवर कैसे उस पर उतरा। इस समय काउंटडाउन का T-11 मिनट्स 11 मिनट है और ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस शुरू हो चुका है। आइए अब हम ये जानने की कोशिश करते हैं कि 3850 किलोग्राम भार वाले चंद्र उपग्रह 2 को प्रक्षेपित करने के लिए रॉकेट की संरचना क्या है। ये एक 3 चरणों वाला हमारा सबसे भारी प्रमोचनयान है। ये प्रमोचनयान भूतुल्य अंतरण कक्षा यानी GTO में 4000 किलोग्राम के उपग्रहों को प्रक्षेपित करने की क्षमता रखता है। इसकी संरचना में 2 ठोस नोदक स्ट्रैप-ऑन चरण S200, इसके मुख्य द्रव्य नोदन बूस्टर चरण L110 के दोनों ओर समाकलित हैं। प्रत्येक ठोस नोदक स्ट्रैप-ऑन चरण में लगभग 205 टन कंपोजिट सॉलिड प्रोपेलेंट का वहन करता है। इस चरण की लंबाई लगभग 26 मीटर और व्यास 3.2 मीटर। इस नोदक के चरण का भार करीब 237 टन है।
-10 minutes.
276 सेकेंड वाले विशिष्ट आवेग ठोस चरण को 130 सेकेंड तक प्रज्वलित होता है। ये दोनों स्ट्रैप-ऑन रॉकेट का संयुक्त प्रवण लगभग 9,316 किलोन्यूटन या 950 टन फोर्स प्रदान करता है। इस प्रवण से 640 टन भार वाला यह रॉकेट ऊपर उठता है। जैसे जैसे ठोस नोदक प्रज्वलित होता जाता है, इसकी गति बढ़ती जाती है।
On your screens, Chairman ISRO Dr. Shivan, flanked by Director of Satish Dhawan Space Centre. Now again a view of Mark III on the launch pad undergoing final checks. The GSLV Mark III is the heaviest and the most powerful launch vehicle made by ISRO. It has the capability to launch 4 to 4.5 ton satellites into GTO and about 8 to 10 tons in low Earth orbits. The GSLV Mark III consists of two solid S200 strap-ons attached to a liquid L110 core
-9 minutes.
and a cryogenic upper stage C25. The total length of GSLV Mark III is 43.5 meters. The spacecraft being launched today, the Chandrayaan-2, has several science payloads to expand the lunar and the scientific knowledge through detailed study of topography, seismography, mineral identification and distribution, surface chemical composition, thermophysical characteristics of topsoil, and composition of dense lunar atmosphere, leading to a new understanding of the origin and evolution of the moon. On your screens, a shot of the VVIP gallery. The orbiter payloads will be conducting remote sensing observations from 100-kilometer orbit, while the lander and rover payloads will perform in situ measurements near the landing site. A few words about the launch sequence to be followed today. At the liftoff, with the timeline as t is equal to 0 seconds, the two solid strap-ons named
-8
S200
minutes.
will get ignited on ground. Then, when the S200 thrust starts to fall
tank level
and
correction
enter the
completed.
tail-off region, and the vehicle acceleration falls to a level of 23 meters per second square, at about 110.8 seconds from liftoff, the L110 stage is ignited in air.
S200 prime
At the L110 stage ignition command, the vehicle is in an altitude of 44 kilometers, and it has attained an initial velocity of 1.74 kilometers. Another about 20 seconds later, at about 131.3 seconds from liftoff, the S200s burn out and separate. At S200 separation, the vehicle altitude is 62 kilometers and the vehicle velocity is about 2 kilometers per second. 10 seconds after S200 separation, the closed loop guidance is initiated for the vehicle to ensure the precise path to its final orbit. That is, here onwards, the vehicle continuously compares its current state with the targeted end conditions and follow the commanded path to achieve them.
-7 minutes.
During the L110 burning phase, when we reached an altitude of 115 kilometers, the payload fairings are separated. This happens at about 204 seconds from liftoff. The L110 stage is commanded to be shut off by guidance at 305.7 seconds from liftoff on reaching its end target conditions. It is separated at 308.8 seconds. The altitude here is 171 kilometers and the vehicle velocity is 4.61 kilometers. Finally, the cryogenic stage is ignited at 2.4 seconds after L110 separation, that is about 311 seconds from liftoff, and it burns to depletion. The burn to depletion is sensed at an acceleration threshold of 13.7 meters per second square, and Cs-25 shutoff command is issued. This happens at about 9:59 seconds from liftoff, that is about 16 minutes from liftoff. By this time, the orbital conditions are achieved. The C-25 burns in this mission for 648 seconds, and the velocity at injection altitude of 182 kilometers is 10.3 kilometers per second, and the required orbital conditions of 170 kilometer perigee and 39,120 kilometers apogee has been achieved. 15 seconds later, at 974.3 seconds from liftoff, the Chandrayaan-2 will be separated from the launch vehicle and injected into GTO. We will show to you the live injection of Chandrayaan-2 into orbit by the help of onboard cameras on the launch vehicle.
जैसा कि मैं
Flight
बता रहा
cockpit and
था,
loading completed.
हमारे दो सबसे हैवी वेट ठोस नोदक रॉकेट हैं जिनको S-200 बोलते हैं। इनके प्रमोट से रॉकेट धीरे धीरे ऊपर उठता है और ये 130 सेकेंड तक प्रज्वलित होता है, लेकिन 110 सेकेंड के पास में इसका प्रणोद धीरे धीरे कम होता जाता है। उसी समय कोर रॉकेट L1 टन, जिसमें कि हम करीब करीब 115 टन US-25 और N204 को भरते हैं, इसके दोनों इंजनों को 110.82 सेकेंड पर शुरू कर दिया जाता है। उस समय रॉकेट पृथ्वी से लगभग 44 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई पर 1.752 किलोमीटर पर सेकेंड की गति से अग्रसर होता रहता है। इसी समय इस दोनों S-200 राज्यों के प्रणोद धीरे धीरे कम हो रहे होते हैं और इस रॉकेट को 131.3 सेकेंड पर मुख्य रॉकेट से अलग कर दिया जाता है। मुख्य कोर द्रव नोदक चरण की लंबाई लगभग 21 मीटर और व्यास 4 मीटर और इसमें 115 टन द्रव्य नोदक US-25 और N204 को अलग अलग टैंकों में भरा जाता है। इन सबको मिलाने से चरण का भार 125.6 टन है। इस चरण के दोनों इंजन के साथ 1598 किलो टन यानी लगभग 163 टन फोर्स का प्रणोद लगभग प्राप्त होता है और ये इंजन 195 सेकेंड तक 195 सेकेंड तक 293 विशिष्ट आवेग के साथ प्रदान करता है। जैसे ही रॉकेट वायुमंडल में 115 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई पर पहुंचता है, उसी समय 5 मीटर व्यास वाली हीट शील्ड को रॉकेट से पृथक कर दिया जाता है। उस समय इसकी गति लगभग 2.63 किलोमीटर पर सेकेंड होती है। मुख्य कोर रॉकेट का L1 टन द्रव नोदक चरण के दोनों इंजनों को 194.68 सेकेंड तक जलने के बाद बंद कर दिए जाते हैं। उस समय रॉकेट की पृथ्वी से ऊंचाई लगभग 171 किलोमीटर और वेग लगभग 4.6 किलोमीटर पर सेकेंड और ये समय लॉन्च से T+305.4 सेकेंड पर होता है। इस रॉकेट को मुख्य रॉकेट से 308.8 सेकेंड पर पृथक कर दिया जाता है। तीसरा चरण जो C-25 क्रायोजेनिक के C-20 इंजन को लॉन्च से 310.9 सेकेंड पर प्रज्वलित करते हैं और इससे लगभग 1965 किलो टन न्यूटन का प्रणोद प्राप्त होता है, जो कि लगभग 20 टन के बराबर है। इसके विशिष्ट आवेग करीब 442 सेकेंड है। C इंजन इस प्रणोद के साथ में उपग्रह को आगे ले जाता है और लगातार ये लगभग 648.8 सेकेंड तक प्रणोद देने के बाद में जब इसकी गति 10.296 किलोमीटर प्राप्त होती है तो इसके इंजन बंद कर दिए जाते हैं। उस समय इसकी पृथ्वी से ऊंचाई लगभग 176.381 किलोमीटर है। इसके 15 सेकेंड के बाद में चंद्रयान 2 उपग्रह को इससे अलग कर देते हैं और ये 170 गुणा 39,060 किलोमीटर की दीर्घा कक्षा में प्रवेश कर देता है। इस समय हम लॉन्च से लगभग 2 मिनट दूर हैं और अब आप स्क्रीन पे जो आप देख रहे हैं ये हमारे यहाँ के डिप्टी डायरेक्टर साहब बैठे हुए थे और सारे वैज्ञानिक अपने पैरामीटर्स को अपने मॉनिटर के ऊपर में बहुत ध्यान से देख रहे हैं। अब इस समय हम लॉन्च से करीब 1 मिनट 35 सेकेंड की दूरी पर है और ये जो चित्र आपके ऊपर दिख रहा है ये दो S-200 के बीच में द्रवनोदक का L1 टन इंजन है। जब इसका प्रज्वलन होगा तो ये दोनों S-200 इंजन जो कि मुख्य रॉकेट के दाएं और बाईं ओर हैं, इनका प्रज्वलन यहाँ की कमांड से दिया जाएगा।
Just 1 minute 14 seconds to launch. The weather here on the launch site has been little cloudy, but the sun is trying to peek out, and the ground winds are too less.
Minus 1 minute.
When the ground winds are less, then the vehicle is designed to take much higher loads as well. Also, the upper altitude winds have been favorable,
Minus 50
which
seconds.
means not much change from the earlier measured conditions. We always
Minus
design the
40
final
seconds.
rocket trajectory with measured winds, and thus the smaller wind variability
Minus 40
means
seconds.
not much change from the design trajectory.
79 open.
Minus
Just
33 seconds.
T minus 33 seconds to launch. the excitement building
Minus
up
30
here
seconds.
on your screens, the close shot of the
Real-time
base
program
of
Minus
the
20
Mark III,
seconds.
where you will see shortly the S200s igniting on the ground.
Minus 20
3
seconds.
minus 18 seconds now.
Minus
अब आप
15
ध्यान से
seconds.
अपनी स्क्रीन पे देखिए, अब आखिरी के 10 सेकंड बाकी हैं। अब मैं कुछ दिन के लिए अपनी वाणी को
9,
रोकूंगा, आप ध्यान से
8,
देखिए।
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
इस समय आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख रहे हैं 2 S200 रॉकेट,
Plus 5 seconds.
दोनों का प्रज्वलन हो गया है और उससे 640 टन वाले मार्क III रॉकेट नौकन को ऊपर की ओर लेके जा रहे हैं।
We have a liftoff.
यहाँ पे काफी थिक क्लाउड से वो चलता हुआ हमारा रॉकेट बढ़ता जा रहा है और जो हमने पैरामीटर्स में देख रहे हैं, सारे पैरामीटर्स जैसे कि घोषित किए गए थे उसी के पर चल रहा है रॉकेट। अभी हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे कि IR का इंफ्रारेड कैमरे का व्यू भी हमारे सामने आए, तो मैं आपको थोड़ा इसके बारे में ही बताऊंगा। जैसा कि अभी घोषणा की गई है, सारे पैरामीटर्स सामान्य हैं।
The S200s performing normally, and on your screens on the red is the plant trajectory and the blinking dots are the current position of the vehicle. We are about 1 minute 22 seconds into the launch. The S200 developed a total thrust of nearly 6,000 kilonewtons, and they are loaded with 205 tons of propellant each. On your screens, Dr. Shivan, Chairman ISRO, flanked by Sri Somnath, Director of SDSC. And now we are slowly and steadily reaching a phase where the L110 ignition will happen.
L110 engine started.
अभी अनाउंस किया गया कि L110 जो कि हमारा दूसरा मुख्य रॉकेट है, उसका इग्निशन हो गया है, उसके दोनों इंजन प्रज्वलित हो गए हैं और इसके प्रज्वलन होने से हमको करीब
Change over to SCBT2. L110 performance normal.
अभी घोषणा की गई है रेंज ऑप्शन डायरेक्टर द्वारा कि इसकी गति और वेलोसिटी बने हुए की सामान आ रही है। अब ये रॉकेट
S200 separated, performance normal.
131 सेकंड पर प्रज्वलित किया गया था
Closed loop
और ये
variance
लगभग
initiated.
195 सेकंड तक
After
इतनी प्रणों देता जाएगा।
10 seconds after the S200 separation, the vehicle is now under closed loop guidance. The L110 performance is normal. The L110 is a twin engine powered high thrust version stage with a specific impulse of 293 seconds.
अभी आपके स्क्रीन पे दिखा रहे हैं कि दोनों S200 रॉकेट मुख्य रॉकेट से कैसे अलग हुए हैं, उसका एक विहंगम दृश्य आपके सामने आ रहा है।
The onboard cameras capturing the
L110 performance
S200
normal.
separation.
जैसा कि आपने देखा, जब S200 जो कितना हैवी रॉकेट है, उसका जब फ्यूल जलने के बाद में उसको अग्नि करने के लिए ऊपर में 3 रॉकेट और नीचे में 3 रॉकेट जिनका की थ्रस्ट अलग अलग है, उसने मेन रॉकेट से इसको
Now the
पृथक कर
heat
दिया।
shield separation will take place, and again, you from our videos on board, you will be able to
Payload
see the
fairing
heat shield
separated.
separation from the vehicle.
अभी आपके स्क्रीन पे हीट शील्ड को मुख्य रॉकेट से अलग हुआ, उसका दृश्य आपने देखा।
Beautiful view of the two halves of the fairing separating from the launch vehicle.
L110 performance normal.
L110 जो कि हमारा कोर रॉकेट है, वो सामान्य रूप से आगे बढ़ता जा रहा है। उसी के साथ में आगे के सैटेलाइट और क्रायो स्टेज।
As I was mentioning, the L110 stage develops a peak
Plus 4 minutes.
steady state thrust of about 1700 kilonewtons together. The stage is 21.2 meters long and has an outer diameter of 4 meters. The L110 weighs about 130
L110 performance
tons
normal.
and has 114 tons of liquid propellant consisting of N2O4 oxidizer and US-25 fuel. Range Operations Director Sri K. Ponginan on the screens now. Now L110 is slowly reaching towards its end phase. Another 60 seconds for L110 to go, and as I had told earlier, the L110 was ignited at 110 seconds from the liftoff time, and it will be shut off by the guidance reaching the predefined targets for the L110 stage.
Plus 5 minutes.
We are launch plus 5 minutes and 5 seconds, and shortly the L110 will be shut off.
जब रॉकेट का एल्टीट्यूड 170 किलोमीटर, अभी अनाउंसमेंट हुआ, रॉकेट क्रायोजेनिक रॉकेट प्रज्वलित हो गया है और उससे L110 रॉकेट उससे अलग हो गया है.
The cryogenic stage has ignited, and I don't know whether you can hear the clappings of the working level scientists expressing their happiness on the ignition of the cryogenic stage. The performance of the cryogenic stage is looking normal at this stage. The intended path and the actual path falling exactly one over another.
अभी जैसा कि अनाउंस किया गया है, तीसरे चरण का C-25 क्रायोजेनिक के C-20 इंजन को प्रज्वलित किया गया था. इससे करीब 20 टन का प्रणोद प्राप्त होता है और इसका विशिष्ट आवेग करीब 442 सेकेंड है. अब ये इंजन उपग्रह को इसकी कक्षा में ले जाएगा और ये लगभग 647.8 सेकेंड तक समाचार प्रसारित करता रहेगा और उस समय तक इसकी गति करीब 10.296 किलोमीटर की प्राप्त होगी. उसके बाद ये इंजन बंद कर दिए जाएंगे और उसके 15 सेकेंड के बाद में उपग्रह उससे अलग कर दिया जाएगा. इस समय जो हम देख रहे हैं, इसकी एल्टीट्यूड करीब 199.9 किलोमीटर है और जो टाइम करीब 390 सेकेंड का हो रहा है और इसकी रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी करीब 4.46 किलोमीटर है.
The vehicle velocity is about 4.7 kilometers. That's the initial velocity. We are at an altitude of 204 kilometers. We have covered a range of 890 kilometers from SHAR and about 405 seconds into the flight time. The cryogenic stage is 13.5 meters long with an inner diameter of 4 meters. It is loaded with 27.7 tons of cryogenic fuel consisting of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. It develops a steady state thrust of about 186 kilonewtons and has a specific impulse of 443 seconds. This will burn to depletion in about total burn of 650 seconds
performance
in
normal.
this mission.
जैसा कि आपको बताया गया हमारे रेंज ऑप्शन डॉक्टर के कि क्रायो स्टेज की जो परफॉर्मेंस है वो सामान्य है. मैं ये आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि क्रायो स्टेज की लंबाई लगभग 13.543 मीटर होती है और इसका डायमीटर, इसका व्यास करीब 4 मीटर है और इसका वेट करीब 32 टन के आसपास रहता है और इसमें प्रोपेलेंट करीब 28 टन इसमें फिल करते हैं और ये इसका बर्न समय जो है वो 647.8 सेकेंड का है और ये थ्रस्ट करीब 196.5 मीट्रिक टन 196.5 किलो न्यूटन का प्रभावित करता है और इसका विशिष्ट आवेग 442 सेकेंड्स है.
Now we are about 8 minutes into launch, and another 8 minutes we have before the cryogenic stage burns out fully and the satellite is injected. Now I would like to share with you what happens after we place this Chandrayaan-2 into GTO. Today we will place the Chandrayaan into the geostationary transfer orbit of 180 km by 39,120 kilometers, and on 7th of September, about 48 days from now, the landing at Moon will happen. So what happens in between? Now, after launching it in GTO, to increase the Chandrayaan-2 orbit so as to make the apogee progressively nearer to Moon, we will have a total 6 separate burns of Chandrayaan-2 using its own propulsion system. On reaching the perigee for the third time in GTO, the first burn near perigee will raise the apogee altitude to about 47,000 kilometers, and on reaching the fourth apogee, we will burn again to increase the perigee to about 240 kilometers. This 240 kilometer perigee will be held, and then in 4 different earth burns on different dates and in perigees numbered 6, 11, 16 and 19 around the earth, we will raise the apogee stepwise to 55,800, 71,500, 89,700 and finally 1,44,000 kilometers. Then on 14th August in perigee number 22, a trans-lunar burn will happen, and together with the together with the first lunar burn, that is the translunar injection at the Earth perigee, and 5 days later, the first lunar burn, the Chandrayaan will be placed in a lunar orbit of 120 km by 18,000 km on 20th of August 2019. Then, in 4 more lunar burns on different days, the Chandrayaan-2 will reach its final lunar polar orbit of 100 km circular
Plus 10 minutes.
orbital period of 2 hours. This will happen on 1st of September 2019. Then, by this time, we would have consumed about 1500 kilograms of fuel from the Chandrayaan, and the Chandrayaan mass, along with Vikram orbiter and lander Pragyan, will be about 2350 kilograms in lunar orbit of 100 by 100. Subsequently, the lunar lander carrying the lunar rover Pragyan
Cryo
and totally
stage
weighing
performance
1480
normal.
kilograms will separate from the remaining 875 kilograms Chandrayaan-2 and will be put in a lunar orbit of 30 km by 100 km in preparation of soft landing on Moon near its south pole. All the dates mentioned by me are in the Indian Standard Time and arrived by our calculations based on chosen landing site and the conditions required for the same. Finally, on 7th September at 2:58 am Indian Standard Time, the Vikram lander and the lunar rover Pragyan will soft land on Moon with a velocity of 2 meters per second, and after final checks, the 27 kg lunar rover Pragyan will be deployed on lunar surface. Pragyan will have a life of 14 Earth days, which is equal to 1 lunar day. Chandrayaan-2 has a mission life of 1 Earth year. All the 3 bodies, that is the Chandrayaan-2 orbiter, the Vikram lander and the Pragyan rover, will conduct valuable scientific experiments in the service of our country and mankind.
ये जो हमारा उपग्रह है ये 3 से मिलकर बना हुआ है, ऑर्बिटर,
Cryo stage
लैंडर
performance
और
normal.
रोवर। जो ऑर्बिटर है वो मून की कक्षा में चक्कर लगाएगा, ये चंद्रमा की सतह का निरीक्षण करेगा, पृथ्वी और चंद्रयान-2 के लैंडर विक्रम के बीच में संकेत रिले करेगा। इस ऑर्बिटर का वजन करीब 2369 किलोग्राम है और ये 1000 वाट की पावर जनरेट करेगा।
12 minutes.
इसकी मिशन लाइफ करीब करीब 1 साल है और ये 100 बाई 100 किलोमीटर की लूनर पोलर ऑर्बिट में चक्कर लगाएगा। लैंडर, जिसको कि हम विक्रम के नाम से भी कह रहे हैं, ये इसका वजन 1470 किलोग्राम है और ये करीब करीब 650 वाट की पावर जनरेट करेगा। इसकी मिशन लाइफ 1 लूनर डे के बराबर है, जो कि 14 पृथ्वी के यानी अर्थ डेज के बराबर होता है। रोवर, जिसको कि हम प्रज्ञान के नाम से भी, प्रज्ञान का नाम भी दिया हुआ है, ये करीब करीब 27 किलोग्राम का है और 50 वाट की पावर जनरेट करेगा और ये मैक्सिमम डिस्टेंस करीब करीब 500 मीटर अपने 14 दिन के प्रवास में इसको तय करेगा। इस समय हम अपने स्क्रीन पर देख रहे हैं कि हमारा जो क्रायो इंजन C-20 है वो प्रेडिक्शन और एक्चुअल पे जो उसका जो ट्रेस है उस पर एकदम बराबर आता जा रहा है और इसके जो पैरामीटर्स यहाँ पर आ रहे हैं उसकी वेलोसिटी बराबर बढ़ती जा रही है। इस समय जो हमारे यान के ऊपर में जो कैमरा लगा हुआ था वो पृथ्वी का चित्र ले रहा था, जैसे कि हम सेल्फी बोलते हैं, उसी तरह से हमारे जो यान पर जो कैमरा लगा हुआ है वो अर्थ का फोटो ले रहा था, जो भी आपने अपने स्क्रीन पे देखा। अभी रेंज ऑप्शन डायरेक्टर ने अनाउंस किया कि हमारा रॉकेट सामान्य रूप से आगे बढ़ता जा रहा है और इस समय लॉन्च से करीब करीब हम लोग 810 सेकंड दूर हो गए हैं और रेंज करीब करीब 3170 किलोमीटर है।
About 2.5 minutes to go before we shut down the cryogenic stage, and as you have seen the S-200 strap-ons and the heat shield separating, let me talk briefly about this complex process of stage separations in Mark III. The spent stages of a multi-stage launch vehicle are separated from the main vehicle once their usual purpose is served. The separation should be smooth and collision-free under all possible circumstances.
Plus 14 minutes.
Also, no undue rotational rate shall be imparted on the vehicle. GSLV Mark III employs various separation systems. The first separation of the L110 nozzle closure is commanded when L110 has to ignite. The closure is attached to nozzle exit plane using a wire rope, and we are having on your screens animation of the cryogenic stage performance. Continuing with my briefing on the stage separations, The S-200 separations are achieved by releasing a single frangible joint at the forward end and 3 separable linkages at the aft end, and then each S-200 is jettisoned by 6 side rockets, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. We are approaching the injection of the vehicle in about 1 minute and 10 seconds. The L110 separation is achieved
Plus
using
15
metal
minutes.
rockets, and the Chandrayaan separation is achieved using springs. The
Cryo stage
later
performance
in
normal.
lunar orbit, the lander Vikram will also separate from Chandrayaan using springs. It is launch plus 15 minutes, 15 seconds, and in less than a minute, we will have injection of the satellite.
इस समय जो ऑन बोर्ड पे कैमरा लगा हुआ है उसके सैटेलाइट का चित्र आपके स्क्रीन के ऊपर में दिखा रहे हैं, और इस समय हम लोग करीब 926 सेकंड लॉन्च से हो गया है और हम बहुत करीब पहुंच रहे हैं, जबकि ये सैटेलाइट का जो हमारा जो क्रायो इंजन है उसको शट ऑफ का कमांड दिया जाएगा, उससे हम लोग बहुत ही पास में आ गए हैं। और आप अपने स्क्रीन पे देख रहे होंगे इस समय जो एनिमेशन किया हुआ चित्र जिसपे कि क्रायो इंजन और उसके आगे सैटेलाइट लगा हुआ है।
In about 10 seconds, we expect the cryogenic state shut off. As you can see on your screens, the performance totally normal.
Plus
The
16
blinking
minutes.
dot is the current position of the vehicle. Anytime the cryogenic state shut off command will be issued now. We are waiting for the announcement of the cryogenic stage shut off.
रेंज ऑफसेट डायरेक्टिव को तैयार है अनाउंस करने के लिए। उन्होंने अनाउंस किया, क्रायो इंजन शट ऑफ दिया, कमांड दे दिया। अब इससे 15 सेकंड के बाद में सैटेलाइट को क्रायो स्टेज से अलग कर दिया जाएगा।
See carefully. Anytime you will see this satellite.
या सैटेलाइट को सेपरेट कर दिया गया क्रायो स्टेज से। इस समय जो आप सैटेलाइट कैमरे से आप देख सकते हैं।
Moving away from the C-25 stage. This is brought to you
Chandrayaan-2 spacecraft is injected
using our onboard cameras on the launch vehicle.
Mission Director.
इस समय मिशन कंट्रोल कद में इतनी खुशी का माहौल है, सब लोग एक दूसरे से गले मिल रहे हैं, और ये हमारे लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है कि हमने अपने पहले प्रयास में चंद्रयान-2 को हाईली एलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट 170/39,000 में प्रक्षेपित कर दिया है।
The vehicle has given good overperformance. That's what we were expecting from cryogenic stage, and 170 km per g we have obtained, and we have got an apogee of nearly 45,000 kilometers, and this is the overperformance what we were expecting, and that is the reason we went for burn to depletion instead of apportioning what is called guidance margin in the cryogenic stage. The mission has been successfully accomplished. The Chandrayaan-2 is now in GTO orbit, a very good GTO orbit which will save some fuel of Chandrayaan. And now you can see the screens, Dr. K. Shivan, Chairman ISRO, congratulating various scientists, and he is awaiting the signals from the satellite, where the satellite signals will actually confirm its deployment. The information right now which we have given you is from the launch vehicle, and shortly the satellite will be sending its signal, and once that happens, then Dr. Shivan will be speaking to us about his experience and his views of the launch.
जैसा कि हमारे सहयोगी श्री अभय कुमार जी बता रहे थे कि सैटेलाइट हमारे रॉकेट ने इसको लॉन्च कर दिया है। अब सैटेलाइट से आने वाले जो संकेत हैं वो हमारे ग्राउंड स्टेशन, अभी बहुत जोर से क्लैपिंग हो रही है, इसके मतलब हमारे पास में कुछ संकेत प्राप्त हो गए हैं सैटेलाइट के द्वारा। अब इसका हमारे चेयरमैन ISRO डॉक्टर के शिवन कुछ समय के बाद में उसकी उद्घोषणा करेंगे।
The satellite has given its signals. The satellite orbit has been confirmed. And Shivan taking greetings from his seniors, the earlier chairman of ISRO, other VVIPs, and Shri Sadhguru now, shaking hands with Dr. Shivan. All senior scientists are there, and shortly Dr. Shivan is going to address us. So from my side, we say goodbye to you, and please stand by for Dr. Shivan's broadcast.
मैं आप सब लोगों से
My dear friend, today is a historical day for space and science and technology in India. I am extremely happy to announce that GSLV MkIII vehicle successfully injected Chandrayaan-2 in the defined orbit. In fact, the orbit is 6,000 kilometers more than what our intended, is better. That way, the satellite people have more life, more fuel, and for playing with the maneuvers. Actually, it is the beginning of a historical journey of India towards moon and to land at a place near South Pole to carry out scientific experiments to explore unexplored. In fact, after that a serious technical snag we had and we fixed that technical snag, now ISRO bounced back with flying colors. Immediately after the technical snag observed in an intelligent way, 1 week back, the entire team ISRO swing into action. In fact, next 24 hours, the work done in this center was mind-boggling. And quickly, the vehicle was brought back to normal and identified the root cause of the technical snag, corrected it. Everything happened in 24 hours. In next 1.5 days, the required tests were conducted to ensure that corrections made was proper in the right direction, and we confirm, and after that vehicle is handed over to the management for taking further action. If you are saying this particular mammoth task is possible, or it is only because of the very, very hard work by the team ISRO, especially engineers, technical assistant, technicians, supporting staff of SDSC, VSSC, LPSC and IPRC. In fact, they are working continuously, forget about their families, sacrificing their interest, but non-stop mode. They worked to ensure that the snag is fixed properly. In addition to that, the expert team constituted was really on the job for last 7 days, so that to ensure that every systems are function properly. And it is my duty to salute all the people who have done the work, make it happen successfully. Now, regarding this vehicle, also as a special for this mission, in this mission, GSLV MkIII performance has been increased by 15% more than the earlier mission. Thereby, now the MkIII is approached 4-ton capability to GTO as we designed. My compliments and congratulations to the launch vehicle team for really doing excellent work to enhance the performance capability of the vehicle. Now, if you are talking about Chandrayaan-2, this is actually 3 satellite missions stacked in a single launch vehicle mission, wherein 2 systems are not known to us. First time we have developed, that is lander Vikram and rover Pragyan. Let me tell one more thing. I would say that last 1.5 years, the satellite team really burned midnight oil to make the Chandrayaan-2 as per the suggestion given by the National Committee almost reworked the entire spacecraft last 1.5 years, and they worked without any gap. They made it and brought to the launch. My best compliments and congratulations for the satellite team for bringing the Chandrayaan 2, the launch pad at the earliest. My dear friends, now having injected the satellite or Chandrayaan 2 in the intended orbit and better than that orbit, whatever the satellite team wanted to do tomorrow, the launch vehicle done today to you. And your earthbound maneuver is going to be additional bonus for you. That was good. Now the mantle is given to satellite team or Chandrayaan 2 team, mission team. They are going to do the 15 very crucial maneuvers in next 1.5 months, and finally bringing the Chandrayaan 2 around the moon to place. After that, the D-Day will come, and that day we are going to experience 15 minutes terror to ensure the landing is safely near South Pole. And to carry out the project of this magnitude, definitely the credit must goes to the team ISRO, along with the contributions from the review team, quality personnel, as well as industry. All of them work together to ensure that the success of this mission. Let me thank all of them for giving wonderful contribution to ensure the Chandrayaan 2 mission is successful. For this mission, we are waiting for a long, not only ISRO, not only India, the entire globe was waiting for this particular mission success. Now we achieved. And let me once again congratulate to all the team ISRO members for doing wonderful work. My dear friends, our task is not over. Now the mission team, Chandrayaan 2 mission team is going to work on the Chandrayaan to bring and land near South Pole very quickly they are going to do. At the same time, already we have taken review today to talk about next mission, and that the Kato 3 mission. A next series of missions we are going to have in this year, and I am sure that as usual the ISRO will work together and take the task and ensure that we are always successful and meet the demands as given by the management. Once again, I profusely thank all of you for this excellent success, because this success is coming after a call out. They're always giving sweet. The sweet is not small, they give double sweet. And the Chandrayaan PD is now very happy because whatever they are going to do tomorrow, they already happened today. So they are happy, and we will work together and we will ensure that we making the Indian flag flying high in this specific technology area. And thank you, as well as Jai Hind. In this specific technology area. And thank you, as well as Jai Hind.
We are built to go to the moon. Capturing the imagination of millions of Indians. To explore a new world, a new home. Chandrayaan-2 is a 3-in-1 mission of ISRO, born at the U.R. Rao Satellite Centre in Bengaluru. In addition to me, the orbiter, are my other 2 family members, a lander, Vikram, and a rover, Pragyan. My creators spent years of hard work to prepare me and my family for a mission of potential discoveries and challenges.
We are all geared up for Chandrayaan-2. It opens up a new era of lunar exploration.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Our journey to the moon will be on GSLV MkIII, the mightiest rocket ever built by India. Enabled by a powerful cryogenic stage, GSLV MkIII will inject us into a highly elliptical orbit around the Earth. As we approach the vicinity of the moon, we will be captured by its gravity. While my family detaches from me to softly land on the moon, I will keep a constant vigil on them from the top.
Our plan is to explore the unexplored regions closer to the lunar South Pole.
This mission will help us better understand the origin and evolution of the moon. There are many experiments we plan to conduct while dating the moon. This is the beginning to our quest to unravel the mysteries of the moon. We are built to go to the moon.
India has stepped up its international space race by launching its low-caste missions to become only the 4th country to land a probe on the moon. Just 5 days before the 50th anniversary of man's first lunar landing, the Chandrayaan-2 will blast off from the tropical island of the state Andhra Pradesh in India after their decade-long build-up. The mission will also highlight how far the space travel has advanced since Neil Armstrong's giant leap for the mankind during the Apollo 11 mission. India has spent over $140 million to get Chandrayaan-2 ready for 384,000 kilometers trip from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre of India to schedule the landing on the lunar South Pole on September 6, 2019. Almost the entire Chandrayaan-2's orbiter, lander and rover has been designed and made in India. India will use its most powerful rocket launcher, GSLV MkIII, to carry the 2.4-ton orbiter, which has mission life of about a year. The spacecraft will carry the 1.4-ton lander Vikram, which in turn will take the 27-kilogram or 60-pound rover Pragyan to a high plane between 2 craters on the lunar South Pole. Indian Space Research Organization or the ISRO's chief K. Sivan said, Vikram's 15-minute final descent will be the most terrifying moment, as we have never undertaken such a complex mission. Solar-powered rover can travel up to 500 meters and is expected to work for 1 lunar day, that is equivalent to 14 Earth days. Mr. Sivan said the probe will be looking for signs of water and a fossil record of early solar systems. The orbiter payloads will conduct remote sensing observation from 100 kilometers orbit, while the lander and the rover payload will perform in situ measurements near the landing site. The lunar South Pole is especially interesting because of the lunar surface area here that remains in the shadows and much larger than that of the North Poles, according to the Indian Space Research Organization. There is a possibility of presence of water in permanently shadowed areas around it. In addition, the South Pole region has craters that are cold traps and contains a fossil record of early solar system. What makes Chandrayaan-2 special is that it is the first space mission to conduct a soft landing on the south polar region of the moon. It is also the first Indian expedition to attempt soft landing on the lunar surface with homegrown technology. The other specialty of the missions are that it is the first time to explore the lunar terrain with homegrown technology of India, and India will be the 4th country ever to carry out soft landing on a lunar surface. Chandrayaan-2 has several science payloads to expand the lunar scientific knowledge through detailed study of the topography, seismography, mineral identification and distribution, surface chemical composition, thermophysical characteristics of topsoil, and composition of the continuous lunar atmosphere, leading to a new understanding of the origin and evolution of the moon. About the scientific objects of Chandrayaan-2 and the reason for exploring the lunar South Pole, ISRO says the moon provides the best linkage to Earth's early history and offers an undistributed historical record of the inner solar system environment. Though there are the few mature models, the origin of the moon still needs further explanation, said the space agency. The extensive mapping of the lunar surface to study the variations in lunar surface composition is essential to trace back the origin and the evolution of the moon. The evidence for water molecules discovered by Chandrayaan-1 requires further studies on the extent of water molecules distribution on the surface, below the surface, and in the continuous lunar exposure to address the origin of the water on the moon. So what do you think of India successfully launching the GSLV MkIII rocket with the payloads of lander, rover, orbiter to the moon, which any space agency or any country has never landed on south pole of the moon? Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.